Well, we are back in the top part of the barn today. Gary Ann has all three of the kids heading out to trunk or treat today. I'm hanging out here and I'm currently by myself, so this is different for me. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure between this board and that board so I can get what I'm going to need to make a door. That way, anytime you need to replace the bedding and things like that in the nesting boxes, it can just be pushed down and then go down and get it handled versus coming up here, dealing with the ladder, and then having to take it all the way back over and under, and definitely be a huge time saver. But that's what I'm going to be working on at the moment. Okay, this is my frame for the door itself. So I'll run some slats across this and make it solid. That way we can lift and do what we need to do. However, looking at the size of this, you can tell the kind of gap I'm dealing with. It's roughly, let's take a look, 32 inches. So from back, in this case, top to bottom, we're looking at a 32 inches of space, which in turn does make it a little tricky to get the measurements and things off the wall. And I am working in between two boards that are actually there as studs for the wall. So we're looking at just over 51 inches in length, which that'll be more than enough for the kids to be able to drop, or even myself to drop any kind of bedding down into the chicken coop. So figured I'd let you know where I'm at so far. Okay, so that's the door itself. Still need to make a handle on it. And then I gotta get the the hinges that I'm gonna be putting on, get those set. And then I gotta go put it in. I've pretty much made the equivalent right now of a skid. A flat skid. But once I get all the other things added onto it, it'll look a little bit different. Okay, so I have made a handle, which it's okay for my first one. Not the most ideal thing to do, but it'll work. And I did guinea pig it, picked up the door by it, moved it around, so I know it'll be able to take some abuse. Hopefully it'll last longer than I'm thinking it will, but we'll find out. I also put hinges on the door. Now I went with 5 of them because they're small, so I wanted to try and distribute some of the work between them. But that's the door. Okay, so I have my base framing, which is going to go across the back, come out on this side of the stud, come up to the front and across. I'm going to get that secured in, and then the door will go right over top of that. Seems like the best thing I can do at this point, so that's what we're going with. Okay, so I have the base frame in, and I wanted to make sure that the door was going to be appropriate. It is. Unfortunately, I forgot the screws for the hinges. So, I'm going to have to go and get those. But, I've already checked the weight. It is definitely strong enough to hold me, so I'm not worried about it collapsing or something. Well, not with like an animal or something getting on top of it, because that would just be a bad day to begin with. But this is how she's gonna look. Sorry, fidgeting with things. So I gotta go get the screws, get that in, and then make sure that everything is actually lined up how it should be. And this will be done. Okay. I got the screws, got them put in. They're not the most ideal screws, but considering how thick the boards are on the back side, and the fact that there's sheet metal back there, it kind of limited the options. But we now have a functioning door. I don't see any animals getting this open, but I am going to put some sort of a lock mechanism on it anyways. And then I got to figure out how I want to secure it while it's open, because I have the reach to push this all the way to the wall, but that turns my view into that, well, about there. I don't want to chance one of my kids, if they're up here dealing with this, slipping or falling, because that is quite a drop. And if they have snow or mud on their boots, that would not be something I don't even want to think on that. So I'll figure out some sort of method to pull this back. But we got a door. Well, I put a latch on it, and the odds are I'm gonna get an eyelet or something, run a piece of rope up there, preferably a hook, that way it can just come down, hook through, and just, without having to try and bend back, just real quick, hook and be done. And realistically, it doesn't need to open all the way. Just about here, give or take. But I'll play with the length, make sure that it's going to be adequate for that function. But yeah, that's what I got at the moment.
Alright, so we have our Moana for the day. And then we have our fairy, our ice fairy. Turn around. With her glittery wings. And then we have our Mad Hatter. We had a good time up in Akron today. They got to do their trunk or treating. It was a nice day. I will check in with you guys tomorrow and hope you have a good day.